hilarious Raw with only one title change the entire night. Let's just start the show so we can get this over with. This all started with Braun Strowman threatening and instigating Brock Lesnar for a promo for 2 weeks into the Royal Rumble and blaming Baron Corbin that he lost his previous Universal Championship match. So it came up with Baron Corbin just insulting so that they can get a chase scene because Braun Strowman has the concern of Baron Corbin. And Baron Corbin thought that he was not employed, so he just wanted to mess with Braun Strowman. Why is he still wearing the suit? Why is he still wearing the suit? And nobody knows. He doesn't affiliate with the McMahons. Obviously, the McMahons don't want to mess with him anymore. And he obviously has no throw of power. So why is he still wearing the suit? I don't know if he's still going to be with a faction now, or he just looks like he owns a key food. I'm still with the cancer patient jokes. Just wait for it. Or not. I'm not doing it. I'm already a bit late for my divisional round upload, so anything else. I'm just happy that I'm back on because I took a bit of a break after the divisional round predictions. So this all started with Braun Strowman chasing around backstage, tossing niggas around. He had a talk with the Singh brothers, then tossed one of the Singh brothers on the table, then asked Elias where he was, and he just tossed it at the limo. He was hiding at the limo, but he broke a fucking door. He broke a door! And then tossed the limo when McMahon told him that you're out of the championship opportunity when it costed him $100,000. You're a professional wrestler. You can't afford a new limo door for $100,000. How much are they paying you in the WWE? I know they're not paid bajillions. They're pro wrestlers. They're not actual like mainstream professional athletes like NFL, NHL, Worldwide Premier League soccer players, or NBA, but they're still paid a reasonable amount that they have to go on the road a lot over the year. You think they're not paid like 400, 500K? That should be enough to pay for a replacement door. But whatever. So Braun Strowman's out. I don't know the conversation. He must have had an injury or some stuff got backed up or whatever. He's out of the Universal title picture, and we started off the show pretty shitty. It was just a relentless segment just for Braun Strowman that tossed over a limo because he's strong. Then we had a women's tag match. We had 2 women's tag matches, and both of them were shit. We had a 6-women tag and a women's tag match. And Sasha Banks continues to not impress me. Why is she giving this women's opportunity? Just for the women to have a tag title. Because we can make a women's division relevant, not by making interesting feuds, but by introducing new belts and not making more interesting conflict. And making a Royal Rumble, because obviously that's going to build character. Not at all. Not over the other extra 100 days that you have to make interesting conflicts. We just have to make new belts and make sure women are as equal as the male wrestlers we have in the business. Because that's all that matters, right? That's all that matters. But whatever, we had Nia Jax and Tamina that both look like the same, like they look like the original Usos back in 2010. Tamina looked better in 2010 because she actually looked like a woman. Now she's trying to look like Nia Jax, and Nia Jax's entire attire looks ugly as fuck while her face looks all right. This was supposed to be Sasha Banks and Ronda working together before they cap off in a few weeks against the Royal Rumble. Why would they have a tag match? But whatever. Just so Nia Jax that continues to lose to midgets, so I don't take her seriously anymore because she continues to lose to midgets. Off botching Hurricane Rana, she can't do choke moves. Nia Jax failed of ways of actually looking like a heavy, threatening, destructive force, and she can't even take hurricanes or strikes. Ronda can't do strikes. I hate to say it, you're a former MMA bantamweight champion of the world, and you're telling me that they didn't, prepare you to actually make convincing strikes. The Undertaker in this current age can make more convincing strikes. It ended up with Sasha Banks hitting the bank statement on Tamina for an awkward segment, just presenting that the women's champion, a woman that barely loses matches, Ronda Rousey, to be like, I'm going to be friends with everyone. I'm not going to prove my ground. I'm not going to affiliate myself as a dominant person, as a women's champion, coming out as the most popular woman in the roster since I came in from UFC, the most decorated person out there. I don't give a fuck about her real life personality. She's a pro wrestler. She should know what she's in for. Anyway, that segment was completely retarded. How they didn't do a backstage segment, to just tell them, get an interviewer there, or before the match about how Ronda and Sasha Banks are going to coexist in the tag match. So that was completely worthless, just to show more conflict. Because Sasha Banks isn't really an interesting character. She isn't. She's just called the boss, does this ratchet shit, and with her ugly ass purple hair, just to get a reaction off folks, because 14-year-olds or neckbeards think she's attractive. Whatever. Later on, there was an announcement of Alexa Bliss interviewing Paul Heyman for Brock Lesnar, whoever's going to face him for the Universal title. This was later in the main event, but I don't want to waste time because it was a most awkward segment because it had two people, because it had the tag team heavy machinery from NXT for Otis Domovich. I don't think I pronounced that word right, but whatever. He came over to awkwardly end the segment, because the segment wasn't really going nowhere. They needed to awkwardly transition, even though that was before the main event even started. So, whatever? Really? That's how you wanted to show the top tag team from NXT? Whatever. Next was the Revival matching up with the Lucha House Party. Why they keep doing this? Why? I'm trying to find the reason why they keep doing this. Lucha House Party fucking sucks. Kalisto botched like 2 or 3 moves. They're not interesting of a pair. The Revival keeps messing with them. And people think Revival is so interesting. Why they keep fighting them? If they're so high octane and so interesting, they're just a traditional tag team. They're like a random NXT championship team that you forgot. Just like the Ascension. Except they're supposed to be shown as the traditional tag team. They're disinteresting. You give them a mic, they'll say some threatening stuff to some luchadors that barely understand them, and then they fight. I'm not being racist, that's how I think it is, because each time I see them, it just feels like everybody's stupid. Tag team was alright with the Revival losing off. I think it was Dash Wilder. They look like brothers. The Dash Wilder taking out the leg off the pinfall, and they won 1, 2, 3. That was it. It was a crappy match. Next was the interview with Vince McMahon, involving who's going to be the next opponent for Brock Lesnar. Thinks Braun Strowman's out of the picture. And it was, he wanted to distress in the ring. He had John Cena coming in, like, we hear the most tiring speech. That was so embarrassing because we know John Cena's the top star still, because nobody's established as a top star at all. And he said, with the most confidence coming out of this, I'm going to Royal Rumble and becoming the 17th-time WWE champion. He said that on Raw. The WWE Championship was on SmackDown. My brother finally caught on to it, and he laughed his ass off. I laughed my ass off because I got that on the down because I pay attention to Raw every single week. And you should know, from a black gold belt to a red gold belt, it has the same silhouette, but it's still the same different colorways. I'm shocked that you can't get this right, Cena. And people were just hyping it up. Yeah, he just got that completely wrong. Yeah, it was fucking stupid. And I'm trying to find a reason why people like Cena. What's the interest here? You can say from his haters, he works hard. He's the top guy in WWE, but he's the most simplistic. BS, never give up. Retarded. Be friends with everywhere. Don't give up. Bullcrap. PG SJW Hulk Hogan I've seen in my life. And it's shocking how we denounce ourselves to actually find the next big thing, to still relying on all the vets. John Cena is like 40 years old now. I'm shocked that we still rely on him to be the main event guy on Monday Night Raw. Still to this day. From 2006 to now. 2005, pardon me. Whatever, so it just had Drew McIntyre being like, yeah, I'm Scottish. I'm coming into the ring. I'm the next big thing. Like we weren't trying that since 2010, and then the 3MB gimmick, and then he left. Yes, he won the Intercontinental title back in 2010. McMahon thought he was going to be the next big thing. Then he went to the Indies for a few years, and we haven't seen him until 2018. That was it for Drew McIntyre. They think he's a young talent. The dude must be like 35 already. So yeah, whatever. He's a young talent. Next was Finn Balor coming. Baron Corbin coming into the ring, saying he got screwed over and got viciously assaulted by Braun Strowman when he ran away. Didn't even get touched. And Finn Balor comes and just immediately punch McMahon, saying, "You're not really it. I'm the only one that held the Universal title for under 24 hours, so I don't know how that shows him to be a big threat in the WWE." So whatever. He immediately punches Baron Corbin. And everybody gets in a hold, and so Finn Balor knocked out Baron Corbin. Then takes kicks. Drew McIntyre knocks out both Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre, and McMahon issued their main event being a fatal 4-way #1 contenders match for the Universal title in the Royal Rumble. Oh god. Segment was alright, I guess. It's only gonna issue Finn Balor looking like the underdog. Since he had 2 matches, so obviously they're going to push him as the underdog here. It was predictable because they were giving him an extra match. Why wouldn't you give him an opportunity for the Universal title? Who wants to see Drew McIntyre that barely developed? The only consistent wrestler is Finn Balor. Who else? Really? You want it to be John Cena again? John Cena against Brock Lesnar? If it was Randy Orton and John Cena wrestling, nobody would watch the fucking pay-per-view. And Baron Corbin's just retarded. He's obviously there for filler. So later on in the backstage segment, Jinder Mahal, that everybody forgot that he's even on Raw. He was on SmackDown he won the WWE title. And he just did this because, oh crap, people forgot that I'm unemployed. I'm still employed to WWE. So he tried to see if he can get himself an opportunity. So McMahon asked him to choose one of the 4 men he can wrestle tonight, and if he wins, he takes that place for the Fatal 4-Way later. He chose Finn Balor because, of course, he's the shortest dude. He lost, even though assaulting him first and having a forgettable match, just like any other Finn Balor match from last year. Whatever, so he came up losing in the first place, so that was completely pointless, and Jinder Mahal never had anything to say later on in the show. Inner peace and shit. So, later on, there was Natalya, Nikki Cross, and Bayley against the Riot Squad. And couldn't I tell you what the Riot Squad? They suck. Riot looks retarded. These women don't look like they mix together, especially Liv Morgan and that other bitch. It obviously doesn't work. All these women look like they're different stratospheres and different feds. How are they friends? How are they even affiliated with each other? And then they just debut Nikki Cross in a tag match, and she looks so corny. So did Heavy Machinery. Thanks, they're so corny. They look like 80s indie talent. They look like they don't belong to the WWE in the Attitude Era. They're completely crap. Nothing about Nikki Cross. Wasn't she affiliated with Sanity? They have the same fucking theme. Whenever they wrestled and Nikki Cross had a few fun moves, she's a violent bitch. Liv Morgan had a few crappy moves. Everybody's trying to get away from Nikki Cross because they're trying to treat her like a crazy rabid Wolverine and shit. No jokes about Chris Benoit, obviously. So it just came up to a few stupid moves by Bayley. Just multi-women moves because Nikki Cross is supposed to be a crazy midget. Like SmackDown has a crazy midget now, we have a Scottish crazy midget. SmackDown has a Japanese crazy midget. But she's holding the women's title while Nikki Cross just made her own debut. Even though she should be on SmackDown if Sanity's there. But Sanity's not there from the last 2 weeks. So I don't know what they're doing. Obviously, it seems like Eric Young or half of the guys are going to be released or back to NXT. Even though most of the guys that should, if they find the potential on them, they should obviously put them back to NXT if they need to develop more. But it doesn't matter. Nikki Cross, Bayley, and Natalya wins, so that was it. Riot Squad are really pointless. I mean, they had this backstage segment that started off anyway. Does that mean SmackDown we're gonna have women tag titles? Please don't mean that. Make them unibrand. It doesn't work out as well as it thinks. Look at the tag division on Raw and SmackDown. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable didn't even make a backstage segment. You forgot that they were tag champions, didn't you? They were Raw tag champions. They still are. And they didn't even have a backstage segment. Nobody knows what the fuck happened because they have no conflict. Oh my god, this show sucked. Continuously enough, I already told you what happened on the Alexa Bliss show, so we're gonna head to the main event so we can get this crap over with, and I can make sure I have to sleep well for the rest of the afternoon because later on I'm gonna upload the divisional round. This is my analysis on it. So the main event involved John Cena, Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre. Oh, he's a up and coming talent. And John Cena is facing off against Brock Lesnar for the Universal Champion, so he can be the next 17-time WWE Universal Champion. And Drew McIntyre is going to become the 22nd. Oh crap! I forgot a match. Wow, I'm stupid. Yep, I forgot a match, folks. I forgot a match because I didn't like it that much, even though it was the best match. Sorry, but still, it was enjoyable. We had Bobby Lashley, and it was issued in the start of the show, so obviously I don't know because the start of the show was so cringy for just Baron Corbin to just make one segment and toss one shit over before he leaves. So yes, we had Bobby Lashley, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins for a triple threat match for the U.S. title, Intercontinental title. Why wasn't this on the Royal Rumble? No build up, so they're just going to keep wrestling each other. Corbin, Lashley, and Rollins, Lashley and Ambrose and Rollins, and now we have a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title. It was enjoyable. This could have been saved for for the Royal Rumble. There's no need for this to continue. You could have just had backstage segments, and they can just build up to the pay per view for such an enjoyable match. With Lashley just having, I told you about a title change anyway, so obviously I would forget. It was enjoyable. We had some good finishes, a running knee. Leon Rush shouldn't even be a manager. He's just flipping and doing extra shit so we can get away from Seth Rollins. And it's like, just go back to 205 Live. It really doesn't matter why Lashley needs you. Obviously, Leon Rush doesn't do anything. He just shouts Lashley's name. He never associates with the GM. He never associates with the McMahons. He doesn't convince them for any title shots. Lashley was just giving a championship opportunity. Leo Rush did nothing to make sure he stays legit. Why wasn't Lashley in the Fatal 4-Way? Where the fuck Baron Corbin was in the Fatal 4-Way for the fucking Universal title? Wasn't Corbin Lashley feuding with Finn Balor as well? But whatever, he was in a triple threat match. Lashley won off a spear off Dean Ambrose when Dean Ambrose got Seth Rollins out the ring. So Lashley, this is his first time winning a championship in the WWE. No, it's not. He won the U.S. title back over 10 years ago. And 12 years ago. And he won the U.S. He won the ECW World Championship back of December to December back in 2006. So that's 2 championships WWE forgot to erase from your record. I don't know if he won the U.S. title by beating Chris Benoit. I think he beat Finley for the U.S. title. And he beat Big Show, CM Punk, Test, a lot of guys back in WWE, ECW, to win the ECW World Championship. I'm shocked that's not in his record because some of those guys are alumni now. Most of those guys are alumni now. All of those. So Lashley won the Intercontinental title. No interview for him, thanks he never won a title in 10 years. I think he wasn't in WWE for that long. And next we have the main event. Sorry about spreading on the Intercontinental title. At least the female women's title tag titles look good. They actually look different. Looking at Ronda Rousey's title makes me want to pitch Bim slap her in her stupid attire and her stupid belt. Next was the main event. I already told you who's in it. It was alright. It wasn't better than the triple threat match. There's too many repetitive spots because we know it was just going to be heel and babyface, heel and babyface. Everybody gets their signature moves out the line. Baron Corbin got a chair in the middle of the match. Finn Balor just won out of nowhere off hitting a coup de grace on John Cena. And John Cena's just raising an arm like there's no edge on John Cena anymore. He's just okay with losing. I get it that he's trying to push young talent, but with so many people, singles competitors, lacking any popularity or any interest, I'm shocked that he's not trying to feud or at least get a little upset that he lost maybe his opportunity to have a match for a championship opportunity, even though he has a Royal Rumble. So what's the point of giving him a number one contender spot? Thanks, all these guys have opportunities in Royal Rumble. So whatever, we end up in a high note. Finn Balor gets to face off against Brock Lesnar for the Universal title at the Royal Rumble. So we're going to do some crappy stuff about him turning demon mode. Thanks, Brock Lesnar's better than Finn Balor. And if they're trying to make Finn Balor an underdog, don't. We tried that with Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar. That didn't work well. It just ended up with Brock Lesnar taking a knee to the face, all kick to the nuts. And Daniel Bryan isn't that over to begin with. So, yeah, that's the show. It's a 3 out of 10. I mean, a 4. It had serviceable promos. McMahon coming up and building up the main event was pretty okay. At least we had an authority figure on Raw for once. The matches were serviceable, just too many of them were forgettable. Nia Jax is terrible. Tamina, I swear they just brought these tag titles because most of these women can't carry their own weight. And Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks is the worst feud I've seen in years. I think Sasha Banks doesn't establish herself as anyone and doesn't have any interesting character except she's called the Boss and she's from NXT. While Ronda Rousey has so much achievements behind WWE, and it's actually in a mainstream part of the US called the UFC. They don't bring that up. And how in her first year she won the Universal title while coming to the WWE. No interest, no ego, no characteristics coming out of Ronda Rousey over those accomplishments. I thought the show could have had a bit more. McMahon should have talked to more of the wrestlers. I thought a bit more of an ego could come out of Ronda Rousey, and I thought a lot more interest would be in the Fatal 4-Way match. And Jinder Mahal should have feuded with somebody else instead of just nagged and just preached on McMahon. Because if we see back in the day, you had to be a top guy to try to ask for a championship opportunity with Mr. McMahon, and Jinder Mahal didn't do shit except have a forgettable match for the forgettable reign with the WWE title. He didn't even bring the Singh brothers with him while having an opportunity. So yeah, this show could have been a bit more. I'll say this: it was better than the last 2 Raws I've reviewed. So this gets a 4 out of 10. I think Raw can be better, but this was the better Raws of the year so far. So far, I know after WrestleMania is done, it's gonna give up. But let's just see how the show's going to add up. Thanks. This should have had more. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like. Comment. I would like to hear what you'd like to say. Or read. I can't read. Bye.